Elon! Fuck Elon! My first question is, what does it feel like to be a newbie?
You know, I was going to tell you, I realized that I first bought Bitcoin 1 year ago yesterday, and so this is the end of my rookie year.
Right on.
So, for those of you that don't know, the Bitcoin conference was held over this weekend in Miami. The Bitcoin conference is essentially an annual conference of Bitcoiners that come together from all over the globe. This year, they featured for the first time Michael Saylor, and joining him on stage was Bitcoin veteran Max Keiser. These two have been huge in the adoption and spread of Bitcoin, so it was great to see them team up and do a speech together. Here are some of the highlights of their talk. As to why Max Keiser was screaming about Elon Musk in the intro, it was because during the conference, Elon tweeted out this Bitcoin breakup meme, causing the price to crash a few $1,000s. To watch the full conference, check the link in the description and make sure to stick around to the end of the video where we cover Max Keiser's insane Bitcoin prediction and how it turned out, as well as some recent on-chain Bitcoin data. Also, only a small percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed. If you enjoy finance content, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Enjoy the video.
I didn't really think much about the dollar and about inflation. I thought there was no inflation, and I thought I could just sit and own big tech companies and the world would work itself out. And I guess around March, everything changed and the monetary inflation rate tripled, and it became pretty clear that the big tech trade was a crowded trade. You know, at the point that my niece in her early 20s was telling me about Apple stock, you know, I figured that maybe it wasn't cutting edge. So I looked around and I discovered Bitcoin, and when I discovered Bitcoin, I thought, well, this is digital gold on a big tech monetary network, and it's going to grow by a factor of 100. And then I thought, well, I should buy as much as I can. And what I tell people even this day is what I was buying it, and I was thinking, I have to buy as fast as I can, as much as I can, because someone else might figure this out before, and then I won't be able to. And
okay, that's really interesting for the shareholders. But I mean, my understanding is that you were visited by the ghost of Satoshi at night and came to you in a dream and converted you. That's not the story.
Yeah, Satoshi speaking through all of her or his disciples on YouTube.
Your laser eyes are pointed right at my brain right now. Are you stealing my private keys?
No, you should keep your private keys.
This should save me.
I don't want your private keys.
Really? Okay, well, we just met, so I guess that would be a bit forward.
You know, I think after you study Bitcoin, the light bulb goes off, and what I realized is anybody on earth that wanted to own anything, that wanted to own some property, has a choice. You can buy land somewhere, but someone can tax it and take it away from you. You can buy gold, but someone can take it away from you. You can buy stocks, but you can never take possession of it. You can buy debt, you can never take possession of it. You can buy jewelry, people will take it away from you. And Bitcoin is the apex property of the human race. It's the first time we figured out how to create true property that you can take possession of with full custodial rights, that's least likely to be impaired, that's most mobile. And so, yeah, it doesn't matter if you have $1 billion. If you have $1 billion, you can buy a building in Manhattan or Bitcoin, you'd rather have the Bitcoin. And it doesn't matter if you have $387. If you have $387, you can still buy the Bitcoin, take it anywhere. And if you compare that to buying silver or gold or land or a stock, your custodial and your property rights are impaired by everything else. And so I think Bitcoin is truly a seminal invention of the human race, because for the first time in human history, we can grant property rights to 8 billion people. And that's what I think is cool.
Right.
I think that which does not kill Bitcoin makes it stronger.
Right.
Look, I think Bitcoin is the most efficient use of energy that the human race has yet come up with. I looked at the annual report of Google, and Google puts about 170 or 180 billion dollars of energy into their business to create 1.8 trillion dollars of an asset. Bitcoin puts $4 billion of energy and capital investment to create an $800 billion asset. So Bitcoin, you put in $1, you get out $200. Google, you put in $1, you get out $10. I studied the entire S&P index and all the annual reports. You put in $1, you get out $4. If you look at a bank, JP Morgan, they spend $1 to generate $3.8 of value. And if you study an airline, they put in $1 to get out 40 cents. So Bitcoin is, it's some 20 times more efficient than Google, and it's 50 times more efficient than a normal company, and it's 500 times more efficient than real energy producers. To appreciate Bitcoin, you got to put in the work, but you have to have the motivation. And I think that some people put in a lot of work, learned it and understood it, and then of course they're very passionate about it. Others, they have the motivation, but they haven't put in the work. And then a lot of people don't have the motivation, right? It's not going to change their life, and so they can't conceive of their worldview changing or sinking, because they're just like, whenever I see anybody criticizing, I say, well, what's your solution to people in Argentina? Right? It's like when you're in New York and Manhattan and you're in a cocktail party and then you're criticizing this. Like, what are you saying to everybody else in Africa or South America or Asia or Venezuela? What is your solution to them?
You looked at this situation, you said, oh, the ice cube on my balance sheet's melting. I'm going to buy Bitcoin. I'm even going to borrow money to buy Bitcoin. It seems almost like a speculative attack on the central bank itself. Is that a fair characterization? What are your comments?
I think for a decade, conventional treasury strategy was I buy short-dated treasuries, and in order to get my stock up, I buy back my equity and leverage up my cash flows. I watched 99 out of 100 of my competitors all go out of business pursuing that strategy. What they do is they either they do a dilutive acquisition where they buy another company and they keep bolting on acquisitions until they've got 37 companies and it all falls apart, and then they sell themselves or take themselves private, or they keep buying their stock back and leveraging up. And one way is decapitalizing the company, the other way is diluting the company. What I was doing with Bitcoin was I was saying, I don't want to decapitalize the company. I want to keep the capital or grow the capital, but I want to put an asset on the balance sheet. And I think a big breakthrough is I can convert my cash from a liability to an asset, and then we realize that if that asset's going to go up by more than 10% a year, and you can borrow money at 5% or 4 or 3 or 2, then you should pretty much borrow as much money as you can and flip it into the asset, and why wouldn't you?
Right.
The fundamental difference, I think, with a crypto asset like Bitcoin versus what other people are trying to do in the spaces is the whole idea of a crypto asset is I put my monetary energy, my life force into it, and then I let it live for the next 1,000 years. And it's okay just to be alive for 1,000 years. It's okay to be, what's wrong with being rich forever, right? I mean, and that's what Bitcoin is. And then all of the innovation will take place at the layer 2. I think when Square builds Bitcoin, when PayPal builds Bitcoin into its layer 2, as people build Lightning applications into their applications on the layer 2, I think they're doing all the beautiful, intricate, functional, high-performance things, and they take the risk, they have the upside, but we don't impair the underlying base layer. The life force of the world is Bitcoin. We just got to let it be and respect it for what it is and not mess with it. I think that the reason that Bitcoin is going to win is because of the community ethos. And when I refer to cyber hornets, yeah, I refer to everybody on Twitter and everybody in the community that's educating the world and defending Bitcoin. Yeah, and they're the loud in-your-face cyber hornets. But I was also thinking about every Bitcoin miner running a Bitcoin mining rig everywhere on Earth, and they're fighting for the network. And I was thinking about everybody running a node. And I think about a node is like an altar to Satoshi in your house. As long as everybody is running that node, they're defending the network and they're defending the movement. And I was thinking about every company. And I was thinking about every single technology that integrates into Bitcoin. I was thinking about every analyst and every politician and every journalist that's defending, speaking out for, educating, or supporting this network. And it's happening in every country, in Korean, in Japanese, in Spanish, in Russian, everywhere on Earth. And, one thing that I just love is, if you go on television and you're the CEO and someone says, what do you think about Bitcoin? I think, okay, I'm going to talk about this and try to explain to the world why this is good for the Earth, good for technology, the future of humanity. And then when I get done, I go home and I turn on the television, there's another Bitcoin CEO. And then the next morning, there's another Bitcoin CEO. And the next day, there's an analyst. And the next day, there's a politician. And I just think that's so great to be in a community. Every one of them is a cyber hornet. They're all fighting for Bitcoin. And when someone falls, someone else will stand up and carry the banner and take it forward. And I don't think you can say that about anything else on this earth.
Cometh the hour, cometh the man, Michael Saylor. Let's give it up.
Thank you.
For the Sailor Man. Thank you. All righty.
So there's some highlights of the event. Always a pleasure to see both of those guys speak. Now, an update on Max Keiser's Bitcoin price prediction we have been covering. So after the 55% crash we saw in May, Max Keiser put out a bold prediction that we would see a new all-time high by June 4th. He was confident up until the very end, but as the date has now passed, it looks like as if he was quite a ways off. Let me know what you guys think of that. On one hand, I do respect him for tying himself to a specific date, unlike so many other analysts, but on the other hand, that was a pretty huge call to make. Also, some recent on-chain Bitcoin data out from Yan and Jan via Glassnode, we can see that Bitcoin over the last few weeks has been moving from impatient holders to patient holders. Previously, long-term holders had been selling into Bitcoin strength, but they have been accumulating in this most recent dip. As you guys know, in the Bitcoin game, it pays to be patient. Anyway guys, let me know what you think about everything going on right now in the market. Hope that provided you with some value. I'll see you in the next video, and as always, have a great day.